Thank you very much, Sheriff Spurlock, for being on the show to talk about ERPO. Very important for our community to better understand what that is, how it can be used. When should a person report someone under the red flag law?
The Colorado ERPO law, red flag, is really designed for extreme risk, and that's why it's called an extreme risk protection order. And that is really designed towards individuals who are having an extreme mental health issue. In cases where there is an extreme mental health disorder, an event or a breakdown, often these individuals become a danger to themselves or others. When a family member or a friend knows the individual's life, they know them way better than anyone else does, and they can't control that individual and provide protection for that individual, that's when you want to reach out for help. Talk to the professionals. You might want to call a mental health facility and try to get them admitted for treatment. Where the ERPO comes into place is often people who have this mental health disorder. These individuals might find themselves in a danger to themselves or others, and you would want to protect them from either guns that they already own and possess, or from purchasing additional guns or a new gun and using that gun in a manner that would cause danger to someone or the individual.
Who can call or who can report it?
Obviously, family members, a spouse, a partner, someone who resides with them can call law enforcement, as can law enforcement themselves intervene if they have any information that any of those mental health disorders are presently being displayed, and that the individuals might think that they're a danger to themselves or others.
There's probably several steps to go through in order to make this happen.
What we encourage Colorado is to have the petitioner or someone who is familiar with them notify law enforcement, have law enforcement be involved in the investigation, so we can gather as much information, how many times the individual's been involved in some kind of a mental health crisis, if there's been any threats, use of weapons, or any of those kinds of things. Law enforcement completes an affidavit. It's much like a search warrant. The court can order at that point if there's probable cause to believe, and then law enforcement would serve that protection order. It is a restraining order on the person, and what we encourage is when we do that, that person then voluntarily admits himself into some mental health facility. The officers then work with that person or someone who is close to them to relinquish their weapons. We have a variety of ways to do it here. Law enforcement can take them. They can sign them over to a member of their family that accepts those weapons, and there's some regulations that require them that they can't just give them back to the person, or they can go to a safe storage facility.
So it's not really confiscating them.
It is not confiscating them.
Okay.
It's temporarily taking them for a maximum of 364 days. There's a hearing, and the judge then hears from the respondent's counsel, from the petitioner, and has all the information. And usually within inside of that time frame, the individual may or may not have been seen by a physician and or at some kind of facility that would evaluate them. And then the judge makes a determination, and then the judge at that point can order the ERPO, and it is good for 364 days. Often with extreme mental health disorders, if there is an act of violence, there is usually a suicide or a suicide attempt. That's tragic for everyone involved. And so I can safely say that the ones that we're involved with, we know they're successful because those individuals have not committed any crimes that they may or may not have been able to control. They're all alive, so there was no suicide, and they are working with their own care and treatment. So that is success.
You're feeling that ERPO is working?
I believe ERPO is working, yes.
What would you say to people who are afraid to report their relative, somebody they live with, who they care about? They're worried even maybe for their own safety.
I always ask people, when you're afraid, explain to me why you're afraid. And almost always they will start with a story that tells the mental health breakdown of this individual, where it's clear that the individual is not capable of making good decisions for themselves, and that they are at risk for themselves or others. Most of these people, they care for that other person, and it makes it very difficult. They are concerned about them, and they want to keep them alive. They know that the gun is an easy tool for them because they have participated in that. And I can tell you right now that ERPO saves lives. There's proof of it today. it's worth it to save someone's life.
It's all about getting the message out. How can we be positive? How can we make change?
What we need is a pause button. That's exactly what you're doing here. You're just taking that gun away from them for a short period of time so you can say, hey, you need some care and treatment. This is about saving them. We do it all the time from cars. We take cars away from people all the time when they can't drive right, or they're a danger to themselves. They can't see. This is like that. And I just encourage people that if you have someone in your life or you know someone that is having extreme mental health issues and you think that they're a danger to themselves or others, please act, please intervene, please call a professional for help, please call your local law enforcement agency and save a life.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate all you're doing.